G'day, my name's Rob Leach. I'm a horse trainer just outside of Tamworth. We're also sponsored by AgSolutions, and we use their Megamin Equine enhancer a lot for our sale horses. It just shines them up and makes them feel good and just helps them do better and convert their feed better. The core of our business is young horses and setting them up for the sales. Most of the horses that come through are 3 and 4 year old, or 2, 3 and 4 year old. We do a lot of breakers. I'm just going to show you a few little things that help me out. Righto, so pretty much my program's all about structure and foundation on these young horses. And the way I've found is to just keep it simple and break everything down, you know, into a way that they can understand it. So I always go, if I'm having a problem somewhere, I always go back to A, and I dissect everything, and then I dissect that. I break that down, find a starting point, and I find a starting point for the starting point. So for me, A is, well, what I do is I try and break my horse down into different pieces. I've got his head and neck, his shoulders, his rib cage, and his hind end. So I want to be able to get his head and neck broke and put his face where I want it. I've got to get lateral flexion there, vertical flexions there. I use a bending rein, which is in my right hand right now, and a brace rein, which is in my left hand. Now my bending rein's in my left hand, my brace rein's in my right hand. So if I can't put his head where I want it, then I'm going to have trouble breaking down the rest of the manoeuvres. So for my rollbacks, my spins, my lead changes, I want to be able to control his head and put his head exactly where I want it to go. The next part of my foundation is to move the hind end. I want to be able to step his hind end around his front end, and to do that I use my inside leg and I move it back here to the back part of his rib cage there, and I press him with my spur or the back of my leg until he yields over. So when I push him, he moves over, I let him find relief there. So I'm teaching the horse to seek relief, and I'm teaching him discipline, I'm teaching him how to move away from my leg, and I'm trying to get rid of any braces that I might find in my hands by moving his feet. So I make sure I can move that hind end on both sides. So I'll reach back there to the hind end moving position, pick up on the inside rein, step that hind end around his front end. If I can't do that, then I find that I have a lot of stiffness in my horses and a lot of braciness there that I don't really want in my turnarounds and in my manoeuvres. The third, so C, so that was B. C would be to move his shoulders. Apart from going forward, but going forward is a very important thing. Like this horse is right now, I've got his hind end in the same tracks as his front end. Now I'm going to take his front end off that track, and I'm going to step his front end around his hind end. So his front end's doing a bigger circle than his hind end is. So I'm going to move my hands, and if he doesn't move with my hands, if he doesn't move his shoulders, I'm going to press him with this leg in the shoulder moving position, which is forward. Back here was his hind end, up here's his front end. So I find that by doing that, I call that a counter bend or a shoulder in, whatever you want to call it. But I've got him following my direct rein. My bending rein is in my right hand, my direct rein is in my left hand. There, I can move his front end around his hind end. Now that becomes the foundation for pretty much my spins. It becomes a correction in my circles. If I've got a horse that wants to lean in my circles, if I'm cantering around and he wants to like lean in, I can just pick him out and move his shoulders out. If I'm working a cow and he wants to cheat and drop his shoulders and I can't get him across the cow, I can pick him up and I can move his shoulders away from that cow, and then I can let him come through the turn.